2020 is coming to an end, and now it's that time for us here at GameSpot to decide what we think are the 10 best games of the year. It is never easy, but please know we put a lot of thought, care, and consideration into this whole thing. So before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date for everything that's happening in the future and beyond. Without further ado, here are the 10 best games of the year, as told by the very passionate people who love them so.
Animal Crossing New Horizons is different, and I totally didn't expect it to evolve what I already loved about Animal Crossing so much. It has all of those Animal Crossing touch points. You talk to your villagers every day. The store changes every day. The seasons change. But New Horizons added layers of mechanics that at first I was nervous about, like crafting and resource gathering, but they actually complement that gameplay loop so perfectly that I was really pleasantly surprised. I think my 900 hours are a testament to that. But even more so, I think Nintendo really understands that Animal Crossing is a lifestyle and has really leaned into that ongoing game experience this year in ways that I could not have foreseen when I reviewed the game in March. Being able to see those announcements, to wake up and see this is what's coming in December, has given new life to the game that I didn't have with something like New Leaf or even Wild World, which I played every day for 2 years. In conclusion, please help me. I can't stop playing. But that's the beauty of it. That's why Animal Crossing New Horizons is one of the best games of 2020.
Half-Life has established itself as a franchise that innovates the medium with each installment, so the very idea of bringing back a seemingly dead game after 13 years in any capacity is a hugely daunting task, and with Half-Life Alyx, Valve has certainly delivered. This game isn't just a eureka moment for VR games, but in its own merits is one of the best PC games ever made. It takes the symbiotic immersive VR experience and seamlessly interweaves it with Valve's masterclass game design, world building, and storytelling. From Alyx as a character, to the gravity gloves, to even dismantling everything you think you know about loading a gun in a game, Half-Life Alyx is holistic in proving that you can have compelling, narrative-driven games in VR, something that I thought was a fleeting gimmick in games, but I am confident now is here to stay. It accomplishes all of this by tossing you into moments of sheer horror, brain-warping puzzles, and teeth-grinding gunfights, and does so with flawless pacing. And it's all bookended with an ending that, well, let's just say it does a little more than set the path for Half-Life's future. Alyx, on all fronts, is a stroke of brilliance that has completely warped my view of VR games, and even possibly games going forward. So yeah, it is well deserving to be among GameSpot's best of the year.
This is truly an unjust game. Your chances of winning are almost none. But if my voice is reaching you, there may yet be a possibility open to you.
We are going to make you understand. One must take full responsibility for their actions.
Persona 5 in and of itself is already an amazing game. It's got an amazing cast of characters, a really interesting story, and a lot of great themes about justice, standing up for what's right, and caring about the people closest to you. And Persona 5 Royal, which is the new version that came out this year in 2020, adds so much new content that helps recontextualize the game in a lot of ways and adds a lot of things you really didn't know you needed, but make the experience a whole lot better.
So easily the best part of Persona 5 Royal is the new third semester. With the new Palace leader, I was actually able to empathize with a lot of the things they were saying, where with the original Persona 5, it's a lot more black and white and good versus evil. And the third semester is really, really great. But beyond that, there's so much content in this 125-hour JRPG, and more specifically, so much new content in this 125-hour JRPG that it's so hard to talk about everything that's great with Persona 5 Royal in just 1 minute.
So because of this new third semester, as well as the new characters, the new music, the new area, those are the reasons that it makes Persona 5 Royal a whole new experience from the original Persona 5, and it's why it's one of GameSpot's top 10 games of 2020.
Shall we?
Checkmate.
Y'all gotta look at the bigger picture here. Nothing worth fighting for was ever won without sacrifice. Your fears, your worries, your concerns.
Take Tifa and get out of here!
Cloud!
Whatever your problem, I got you.
There are a whole lot of reasons why I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of the best games of 2020, but for me, the thing that really makes it stick with me is that it reminded me why Final Fantasy VII is so iconic and why people herald it as the best game of all time. Over time, I forgot what it is that Final Fantasy really does well, because Final Fantasy kind of forgot it for a while, but with Final Fantasy VII Remake, realized what its strengths were again, and that is this idea of you as a player going on a massive adventure with a bunch of characters that you start off not really knowing, build an intimate friendship with, to the point where when you finish the game you feel like you're saying goodbye to friends, and it really hurts and you long to be with them again. And that's the core of Final Fantasy. That's what makes a great Final Fantasy game. It reminded me why I love Final Fantasy as a franchise, and that's why I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of the best games of 2020.
Let's dance, asshole!
Our beloved planet is dying. Slowly, silently. Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud.
We're gonna make it home. All of us. No exceptions.
Please get up!
What stands out the most about The Last of Us Part 2 is the incredible lengths that Naughty Dog went to dial up the stakes of the game. The action is thrilling, the stealth in the game is tense, and the set pieces had me at the edge of my seat. The gameplay is some of the most immersive that I've seen, and there was never a dull moment with every encounter, whether it was from human enemy factions or just hordes of clickers chock full of heart-pounding moments. The story has all the bones of a classic Western revenge tale with some twists and turns, but it's these certain moments in the game that kind of stand out almost like their own vignettes that are just some of the most beautiful moments. Every dark pit in the story that the game asks you to traverse will be met with these beautiful pockmarks of light that just seep through the cracks and will stay with you for hours on end. And the perfect balance of bittersweet in this game is just masterfully crafted. If there's one good thing about this year, it's that I had the pleasure of playing The Last of Us Part 2, and it's for all of these reasons and more that this game is one of GameSpot's best games of 2020.
I don't know what happened. She needed her immunity to mean something. Maybe I just wanted to do right by her.
I swore to protect this island with my life. But now the Mongols have stolen our home. Killed our samurai.
You forgot what it's like to fight someone stronger than you.
Ghost of Tsushima came in a year that open world games seemed to be coming by the dozens, but what made Tsushima unique was its respect for the natural world and the player's place within it. Jin Sakai is a samurai who struggles with inner conflict between upholding the tradition and protecting the people. And this element translates to the world in a powerful and meaningful way, both through its story and through its combat. Fluid stealth tactics and dynamic samurai combat weave interchangeably throughout the action, and it's satisfying and it's really deep. On top of that, seeing the tributes to classic samurai cinema is always a treat to look at. With its gorgeous open world and its refined combat, Ghost of Tsushima is no doubt GameSpot's top 10 best games of this year.
To call Spiritfarer just a management sim or just a 2D platformer would be doing it a huge disservice, because it is so much more than that. The way that the game's gameplay and storytelling intersect make for a game that's unlike anything I've played this year. So in Spiritfarer, you're not just helping lost souls pass over to the other side. You are getting to know these characters, you are forming bonds with them, and you're helping them with their unfinished business. Naturally, there is the management side of things. You have a boat that you need to upkeep. You have all its inhabitants that you need to keep happy. You can cook, you can farm. That's one part of the game. It's incredibly rewarding and satisfying, but the best bit is getting to know the characters and building that relationship. And then ultimately coming up against the bittersweet moment where you need to say goodbye. It's handled really beautifully. Honestly, if you have experienced any kind of loss or you have anxiety around it, try Spiritfarer, because it's done in such an incredible way that I really can't recommend it more highly. That's why Spiritfarer is one of GameSpot's best games of 2020.
Tales are told of Hades, whose very name inspires fear and penitence. I, however, mean to tell you such a tale. Listen carefully.
In Hades, every system is built around either supporting or delivering a satisfying narrative. The gameplay is fun, the character designs and voice acting are all excellent. The racially diverse take on the Greek pantheon is a wonderful decision, but it's the stories that are the star, because they tie into Hades' biggest strength. Through storytelling, it subverts the idea of a game over. Hades is always maintaining its forward momentum with its stories, a welcome innovation on the traditional structure of a roguelike. This all results in a game with several compelling reasons for seeing it all the way through, despite the setbacks that you might encounter. And it's for those many reasons that Hades is one of our favorite games of 2020.
In the Yakuza business, a dragon symbolizes the top of the food chain. A fresh-faced fool like me can't just casually rock a dragon. Someday, I want to earn my place. And then my dragonfish is gonna shine even brighter than a dragon.
Dreaming big, huh?
As much as we love Kazuma Kiryu, it was time to move on, and that's okay, because Yakuza Like a Dragon gives us Kasuga Ichiban, a new lead and one of the best characters in games. Now, Like a Dragon switches to a turn-based combat system, offering some strategic and challenging battles. It also paves the way for some of the most hilarious moments in the game. Like a Dragon captures that balance between absurdist humor and gripping drama that the series is known for, with various gangs and organizations all vying for power in various ways. But Like a Dragon also shows growth in the Yakuza series. Inseparable from its story are the struggles of marginalized folks in the context of Japanese society. Sex workers, immigrants, working class, and homeless people are all a part of this journey too. The result is a JRPG that's very much about adulthood, and the party dynamic isn't just for turn-based battles, it's part of how Ichiban grows, where everyone is by his side along the way. This game is very much about the power of friendship. And as always, there's so much captivating side content that fill the streets. Yakuza Like a Dragon gave longtime fans and newcomers a wild and affecting experience, and that's why it's one of GameSpot's best games of 2020.
Well, I guess a dragonfish is pretty cool too.
Right? I'm into it.
Have you lost your nerve?
Demon's Souls is one of GameSpot's best games of 2020 because, well, of course it is. One of the most impressive aspects of the game is how well it holds up after 11 years, and after dozens upon dozens of Souls-like games have flooded the genre. A big part of this is thanks to Bluepoint's incredible recreation of Boletaria. The graphical enhancements and expanded art direction is breathtaking. Bosses like the Storm King are a sight to behold on the PlayStation 5. The window-shaking shriek that the behemoth lets out as it soars overhead is an auditory and visual spectacle, and it's something that couldn't be replicated on last-gen hardware. But it's not just all the fancy bells and whistles that Bluepoint added to Demon's Souls that makes it so special. That core foundation is so strong, and it's one of the reasons why we gave Demon's Souls our Game of the Year back in 2009. It's for these reasons and many more that Demon's Souls is one of GameSpot's best games of 2020.
Still alive? I am impressed.
So of all of these games, we here at GameSpot have collectively decided that the Game of the Year is Half-Life Alyx. From its astounding quality and innovation, Half-Life Alyx is holistic in everything it sets out to do, from its pacing, gameplay, writing, horror, comedy, and yes, of course, its astounding achievements in VR. If you're interested in hearing a more in-depth conversation on why GameSpot thinks Half-Life Alyx is the Game of the Year, you can check out a link in the description below, which is a conversation between Jake Dekker, Michael Higham, and me, Kurt. Okay, thank you so much for watching. What a year for everything, let alone gaming. We hope you had a good time. We hope you're staying safe and well. All right, till next time, see you later.